Meghalaya is a beautiful hilly state in the northeast of India. A state which is blessed with a cool climate, thick green forests, lakes and flowers. The natural beauty of the state is reflected in the joyous and sunny temperament of its people. Much of Meghalaya state is forested. Its rolling hills are covered with green.
Meghalaya is a nice place, and the word means, in Sanskrit, the word means abode of the clouds. Climatically, it describes the place because we have lots of clouds swirling around the place. Now, Meghalaya is a plateau that rises almost perpendicularly from the plains. And on the north, in Assam, we have the Brahmaputra River Valley, and on the south, we have the Barak River Valley and the Surma River Valley. And so the clouds that come from the southwest monsoon, that come across the Bay of Bengal, they come and they hit against this plateau. And that's why you have plenty of clouds swirling around.
The trees, the roads, I mean, especially in the interiors, the weather, oh my gosh, the weather is too beautiful. And the hills.
The Meghalayan subtropical forests are considered among the richest botanical habitats of Asia. These forests receive abundant rainfall and support a vast variety of flora and fauna. A small portion of the forest area in Meghalaya are sacred groves. These are small pockets of ancient forest that have been preserved by the communities for hundreds of years owing to religious and cultural beliefs.
Meghalaya is a good place, and first of all, you must understand that it has an air-conditioned climate, at least in the higher regions, as compared to the plains around. We don't use air conditioning there because the temperature almost never rises beyond 28 degrees centigrade. That's in high summer. And in winter, then it never goes below 4 degrees centigrade, except in the higher reaches.
So we don't have to install fans and AC at homes. In fact, that idea doesn't even exist in our mind. It's a hill station, so we've got a lot of greeneries, pine trees everywhere. Almost every corner there is water, fresh water, spring water, and especially in the summer, almost everywhere there's waterfalls.
Now, in case you don't know, Cherrapunji, and this is a name that was given by the British, but the original name is Sora. Sora held the record for the heaviest rainfall in the world for many, many years, many, many decades, I may say.
The nature is just, I think God has gifted Meghalaya so much with nature. Monsoons are lovely. I miss walking in the rains in the interiors, probably going to Cherrapunji when it's raining, the roads being foggy, and you know, I miss starry nights, which you don't see in the city with so much of pollution. Going home every time, the breath of fresh air that you get, you can actually smell the pines, and it's just lovely.
One thing I want to talk about cleanliness. It's in itself a culture. We hold importance to cleanliness. For example, the Maulanong, which is a village, say 90 kilometers from Shillong, it's been the cleanest village in Asia.
We're here in Delhi because the church has sent us here to work among the people, the Khasi Jaintia people here in Delhi, and we are serving them. But it's always a joy to go back home and to meet the people there. When we get there to Shillong, we enjoy the company of people. Khasi people are rather laid back, if I may say, to the point of being lahe lahe. There's an Assamese word called lahe lahe. Take it easy, cool, chill out. Take it easy, man, that sort of thing. So we work, but we don't work very hard. We struggle at some points, but then we also know how to enjoy ourselves. Socializing is a very important part. I was just talking with my aunt yesterday how for Khasi socializing is so important. How relating with your friends and relatives and visiting one another is so important. And then eating. When we meet, we must eat.
The values that parents give to their children, I think is very important. And I've been in the city for quite some time now, and I would always love to go back to Shillong to bring up my children. I mean, it's different from the cities because it's a place where people, we don't rush for anything, so parents still have time for their children. The quality time that is needed with them are spent, and I think that's a time when we learn a lot from our parents.
The vast majority of the population of Meghalaya are tribal people. The Khasi tribe are the largest group, followed by the Jaintias and Garos. These tribes had their independent kingdoms until the coming of the British administration in the 19th century.
Every village was an independent kingdom carrying on without much communication among themselves. And that is the reason why we find so much of cultural variation and linguistic variation in this area. And it is a very colorful area. Each one has got their own songs, their own dance, their own shawls, their own colors, their own architecture, and everything is typical of each tribe.
The traditional Khasi men's dress is jimphong, or a longish sleeveless coat without collar fastened by thongs in front. The traditional women's dress is rather elaborate, with several pieces of cloth giving the body a cylindrical shape. On ceremonial occasions, they wear a crown of silver or gold on the head. A spike or peak is fixed to the back of the crown, corresponding to the feathers worn by the menfolk. In Khasi society, the woman looks after the home, the man finds the means to support the family, and the maternal uncle handles all social and religious matters. The Khasis are now mainly Christian. Earlier they believed in a supreme being under whom were deities of water, of mountains and of other natural forces. The Garos called themselves Achik Mande. In the Garo language, Achik means hills and Mande means man. So Achik Mande means the hill people. Garo women used to wear a piece of cloth around their waists and a blouse or a vest. The men usually wear a turban. On all festive occasions, the Garos, both men and women, wear headdresses with rows of beads stuck with feathers of the hornbill. Both men and women wear bangles and earrings. Before embracing Christianity, they used to cremate the dead body in the presence of all the relations of the deceased. There are many important festivals in Meghalaya. These celebrations usually take the form of dances where people can forget the drudgery of life.
This museum is a witness, a sign of that one, that we want to preserve the culture of the indigenous people as much as possible, because as the time goes on and the transition takes place, they themselves will discard and they will forget what they were. So we want to preserve for them what their culture was in the past. There has to be a continuity. You cannot, even if you advance, progress, whatever development you take, there has to be a continuity. You cannot cut yourself off completely from your past. So you have to build on your past, and you cannot completely forget what you were, what your history was.
There is much singing among the joyous, simple people of Meghalaya. Unlike commercial singing in the cities, here almost everyone seems to sing for the sheer pleasure of it.
Singing there is pure talent and no commercial. No, people don't, they just sing it because they really want to sing. Just sing because music is the food of life. That's it.
Singing, it's in our gene, if I am to say that. Almost every next person in the family is a singer, either the father, either the mother, or the children. In fact, sometimes they even have the whole family as a choir, as a team. Music, it's everywhere.
Khasis love a lot of music, and this is reflected in every village, every town that you visit. There's always someone strumming the guitar, or there's always someone playing the keyboard. But it's not always been like this. It's not just this Western music. We have our roots in the oral tradition, and the oral tradition is not so much spoken as it is sung. We have our own style of singing, which is more of a, as I said, a crooning, lullaby sort of thing. But we've adapted to Western music. Now, when the Western missionaries came, both the Protestant and the Catholic variety, they introduced church music, because in Christianity, music is a very important part of worship. And the Khasis naturally took to that. And the Garos also, in the western part of Meghalaya, they also took to that very well. And we have become very accomplished in church music. It's almost every family has a guitarist, and every third or fourth Khasi knows how to play the guitar. And they've won competitions in many places.
We are in Shillong, the capital of the state of Meghalaya. It is a popular hill station and has been known as the Scotland of the East. India has such a fascinating blend of different religious faiths. Meghalaya has a predominantly Christian population today. Different orders of Christianity from Germany, from England, from Italy began to arrive here in the 19th century.
The British came to Assam in 1826. A few years after that, the Presbyterian missionaries came to Meghalaya, and they established here in Shillong, Cherrapunchi, Laikinsev, and different places.
The Anglican Church came to this region, to Meghalaya, mainly to cater to the spiritual needs of the British people who had come to this region to serve in the army as well as in the British government. And when it came to Shillong, this church was founded in 1872, and the foundation stone of the first church was laid by His Excellency Lord Northbrook, the Viceroy of India.
This is the model of the first Catholic cathedral that was built in Shillong by the German fathers in 1890 when they came for the first time to Meghalaya for evangelization. The Salesians came in 1922 and they occupied this place where the German fathers had been, and they continued their working till 1936 when it was burned down, and later on in the same place the Salesians built the present cathedral and the complex that we find today, which is a magnificent cathedral built in the 1940s, and then it was dedicated to Mary Help of Christians by the then Bishop of Shillong, Monsignor Louis Matthias.
This is Don Bosco Shrine. It was built in the year 2005, it started, and they could finish it by the year 2009. It was a big celebration where thousands of people thronged to this place in order to come to get a glimpse about this beautiful shrine. And if you look at the center, you'll find a beautiful mosaic. When Don Bosco was at the age of 9, he had a dream. In that dream, he saw a beautiful vision. The Salesians, mostly they came from Italy, but we are a congregation, an international congregation, where we live together, Italians, Germans, Indians. Right now, my children are singing down in the hall, and they are, especially our people are very talented, especially in music, and so the children, they pick it up, especially for dancing or singing or playing any instruments. They are really gifted for that.
This seminary is a training place for young boys who aspire to be future priests and leaders of the church, of the Catholic Church.
Every Monday we have a prayer meeting, Thursday the Bible study in Khasi in our own dialect, and also every Friday we have it in English. We invite any people who come from every kind of tribes, race or tongues. Yeah, we have every week we gather, say not less than 300 young people.
I'm studying at Nihu, doing my first semester in philosophy. I was lost for many months. I needed some spiritual food in my life. Then through my friends, they came to church. They said, let's go for a camp. I said, what camp? They said, okay, it's a camp where they teach and we sing, and you know, it's a great camp. So we just went there, and then when I came back from there, it's changed my life and transformed me completely.
A majority of the people of Meghalaya follow a matrilineal system, where the lineage and inheritance are through the women in the family. This must be one of the world's largest surviving matrilineal cultures. In the Khasi and Jaintia people, the youngest daughter inherits all the property and acts as a caretaker of aged parents and any unmarried siblings. Among the Garos too, the youngest daughter inherits the family property by default, unless another daughter is so named by the parents. She then becomes designated as Nokna, meaning for the home. In case there are no daughters, then a chosen daughter-in-law or an adopted child comes to stay in the house and also inherits the property.
Now, when we talk about a society being matrilineal, we talk about the lineage being traced to the mother, but the gender roles is something that is well distributed, it is well defined. Women are empowered in a way that other women in the rest of the world cannot be empowered. And the empowerment, ironically, surprisingly, contradictorily, whichever word you want to use it, the empowerment has come from the male. What is interesting about society there is that it's matrilocal, where, for instance, the husband stays in the wife's house. Now, this is something that has been much appreciated by many of my friends who've come from outside Meghalaya. My husband stays in my house. I mean, this husband has come to my house to stay there, but that doesn't mean that he is of secondary importance. Now, why this has been appreciated is because for many of my friends, the very fact that I can actually stay back and look after my parents, which I did, is something which has been deprived of many women, who would prefer to stay back and look after their parents. And the question of accommodation and adaptability, I think, is far greater between son-in-law and mother-in-law and father-in-law. Well, at least my husband got along very well with my mother and father.
Amidst the fast-changing and commercialized world all around, the people of Meghalaya have retained their joyousness and sense of values. It is these qualities which lead to happiness in one's life. From tribal times till today, there is here a sense of community and of warmth. The people care for each other and live in natural harmony.